In the heart of Texas, under the blistering sun, a poor cowboy named Eli Carter wandered from ranch to ranch, looking for a day's pay and a place to rest. His boots were worn, his hat torn, but his spirit stubbornly alive. Folks said he had nothing left but an old horse and a heart too kind for this cruel world. One evening, he stopped at the Harrington Ranch, the largest spread in 3 counties. The owner, Margaret Harrington, was 71, a widow, sharp as barbed wire, richer than any banker in Texas. But behind her proud eyes was loneliness that no money could mend. Eli offered to fix her fences, tend her cattle, and asked for no more than food and shelter. Margaret agreed, but as she watched him work day and night, something about that poor drifter stirred an ache she thought long dead. By the end of summer, Eli had brought the ranch back to life. Margaret often watched from her porch, her heart betraying her age. The townsfolk whispered, what was a rich widow doing keeping a young cowboy so close? One night, after a storm wrecked half the barn, Eli worked through the night to save her cattle. When he collapsed at dawn, Margaret rushed to his side, her hands trembling. She hadn't touched a man's face in years. Why do you care so much, Eli? She asked softly. He smiled weakly. Because you gave me a home when no one else would. It wasn't love yet, but something just as dangerous, hope. Autumn brought change. Margaret fell ill, and Eli never left her side. He read to her, brought her tea, and listened to stories of her youth. Slowly, laughter returned to her porch. One morning, when the sun broke over the hills, she said, Eli, I don't have much time left. I want you to have this ranch. He shook his head. Ma'am, I can't take your land. Then marry me, she said with a trembling smile. Let it be yours rightfully. The town exploded in gossip. They called him a gold digger, a fool, a thief. But Eli only said, a man's heart don't care about the calendar. They married under the wide Texas sky, with only the wind as witness. Life after marriage wasn't easy. Margaret's health faltered, and Eli became both husband and caretaker. Some days she was too weak to rise, and he'd sing old cowboy songs till she smiled again. Yet rumors spread like wildfire, her family wanted the inheritance, and her nephews plotted to prove Eli's intentions false. One night, a letter came, when she's gone, you'll get nothing. Eli tore it apart. He didn't care. He'd already found more than he'd ever dreamed of, belonging. Margaret saw his struggle, his loyalty, and realized she hadn't saved a poor cowboy, he had saved her. Winter hit hard. Margaret grew frail, her voice fading like the wind across dry plains. Eli built a fire, holding her hands as she whispered, promise me you'll keep the ranch alive. I promise, he said, tears streaking his dusted face. That night, she passed in her sleep, smiling. The morning sun rose over endless fields, her land, now his, but it felt empty without her laughter echoing from the porch. He saddled his horse, rode out to the hills they once watched together, and whispered, rest easy, darlin'. You're part of every sunrise now. Years later, travelers spoke of the lone rider of Harrington Ranch, an old cowboy who never remarried, who kept the ranch thriving, and always left a single rose on Margaret's grave every spring. He never touched her fortune, using it only to feed drifters and widows like she once did for him. And when Eli finally passed, townsfolk found a note on her tombstone.